Hi, thank you for listening to Stronger, my LinkedIn newsletter. This is Tatiana Kolovu, and in March, the topic is Off the Cuff Tips to Master Impromptu Speaking. So, Tatiana, tell us about the online conference you just attended. Gulp. That's a question I wasn't prepared for during our faculty meeting, and I had to think fast as our chairperson was staring at me. I needed to provide evidence that department money spent on my registration yielded a good return on investment. Should I talk about the sessions I attended or how I networked? Or should I talk about tools I learned which could be used in our academic classes? I was not ready to make a presentation. But my friends, impromptu speaking is just that, a mini-sized presentation. When you're caught off guard and asked to speak without warning, what do? Well, first, take a deep, long breath. Then consider these two important questions. Answering them will help you focus on tailoring remarks to your audience and also keeping you on topic. What's the one thing I want my listeners to remember? And why should they care? First, what's the one thing I want my audience to remember about the conference? In my case, was it an emerging trend in the sessions that could enhance our operation? Was there a particular session I attended that identified as a game changer? I needed to think of the most important thing and speak only about that. Don't neglect to follow up on your one-minded example without specifics to expand on. So if my remarks described the online conference as being highly experiential, then I needed to follow up with details linking that to specific tangibles and personalizing it to my audience. I usually like to say, so for example, there were three things that happened there. Or for instance, consider practicing this skill in everyday situations, like when you leave a voicemail message or when you just speak impromptu and you give remarks at a social gathering. Practice with every opportunity and sharpen your single themed message. Now, number two, what will matter most to your audience and why should they care? So, focusing on how your organization will benefit is most often the key point. In my case, with the faculty meeting, I noted that return on investment for key audience stakeholders and the major trends that emerged from the conference sessions were important. Just like the single themed message, tailoring responses to your audience will guarantee that you deliver effective messages every time. Let me give you another example. I just returned from a busy work trip to Greece, where I'm from, and it was packed with meeting representatives from 5 companies that my MBA students just collaborated with this year. So the goal was determining our next phase of collaboration and goals for the following academic year. I also met with professors from a local university whose students are collaborating with me on a different course. So finally, I spent some quality time with family members who live in Athens. So, for both business and family questions, when they're posed to me, I relied on the two rules to help me consider useful edits before answering. So, for example, if my MBA students asked about the trip, my response will be about the appreciation and compliments the clients expressed for each project. And there were lots. But if the school dean is asking me, I will focus on the academic partnership success that we've secured with the Greek university. And if a colleague asks me how things went, I'll be sure to focus on my efforts to balance personal and professional goals during the short time I was there. Beyond the focused practice of targeting what you say specifically to an audience, successful impromptu speaking comes from gathering your thoughts, organizing your response, and always speaking with conviction. Let's talk about this last one here. Learning to think on your feet and speaking without or fillers that we all use is also key. The more you train for confident responses, the more skilled you will become with speaking off the cuff. So in my academic classes, I rely on the brilliant table topics deck from the Toastmasters International organization that I attended for years. Table topics cards are handed out in the beginning of each Toastmasters group meeting, and speakers address the whole room while working to improve targeted responses and confident delivery. So I'm giving you a link to a PDF that you can look for and practice with these themes. Another tool that I refer my students to is the Like So app. Now, this app selects random topics for users, and they ask you to speak for 2 minutes. We're measuring fillers, so what and 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 ah. And when you do those unintentionally, at the end you get a grade. I'm asking, or I'm listing a video here. You can check it out. Finally, mastering the art of impromptu speaking takes time. Just remember the two questions above and notice what a different direction your remarks will take when you answer those two questions. Your comments will be focused, relevant, and concise, all key attributes for a great impromptu speaker tasked with a mini presentation. Good luck to you. Now, one reminder, on the 31st, Thursday at 3 p.m., I'm having live office hours, and we're going to take a deep dive on drills and quick exercises you can practice for improving your impromptu speaking skills. I've invited designers of artificial intelligence apps, AI apps, that can help you with this task. So I hope you can participate. And if you want to be stronger in impromptu speaking skills, sign up. I'm giving you the link in the newsletter. Follow me on LinkedIn if you don't do yet. And if this stronger newsletter would be beneficial to a friend or someone that you work with, please share it. Thank you so much for listening.